Folks, you might be looking at the screen and being like, what the? They haven't brought this out in a minute, and I was figured, well, you know, I haven't dusted off the old ball and chain in a bit. I just kind of felt like using it. And I kind of felt like using it to make a statement that I'm going to use the Gorgum twin-linked heavy stubber and the shovel. The Brute Sprainer Mach 3 shovel with brutal takedown and thunderous, with blaze away and overwhelming fire. And then for the talents we have heavyweight, smash 'em, best defense, big friendly rock, soften them up, pumped up, indomitable, stomping boots, trample, slam, batter, impact, strike true, bone breakers era, bruiser, get stuck in, no pushover, attention seeker, frenzied blows, dominate, delight and destruction, heavy hitter, unstoppable, just getting started, and impactful. That's the build. Let's get into a game, shall we? Oh, I'm bugging. Oh, look at me, I'm bugging out. Woo! I'm over here trying to blink. I think my blink sensitivity is all the way down. That's okay. Also, if you see me like doing this, where like it bugs out that way, it's because my stupid squirrel brain will look over and see my little avatar wiggling and be like, oh, what's that? Because I'm an idiot. Anyway, folks, I did have an actual point I wanted to make. Why does this feel different? The UI feels different. Am I crazy? Am I not readied up? I'm not readied up. That's why it feels different. So I got, every so often I get these comments, and I delete them, because I will delete comments for just being annoying. These ones are like hate comments. A lot of them follow the lines of like, oh, you're using the PNG with huge racks to like titty bait or whatever, you're a degenerate, blah, blah, blah. Folks, let me tell you something. I got that damn PNG with huge knockers, not for you guys. That's entirely for me. And if you happen to like it, more power to you. But you have to remember, this Inquisitor lady spawned because I, while stocking milk at Target, was like, hey, I kind of want to see a well-endowed woman in a corset in 40K. So I hit up my artist, and I was like, hello, Sylvie, at rkdvanguard@twitter.com. Go to their commission forums, commission them, they're very affordable. Can you draw these huge bazonkers for me? And she was like, yes. That'll be $80. And I said, thank you. So I paid that, and there she came. I was like, wow, I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I had some emotes of her, which I was kind of using like as a reactive. Anyway, the OGs might remember the old Monster Energy, legally distinct Monster Energy can reactive PNG that I would use for like the PNG tubing. And then I was like, hey, can you just make me a PNG? I do want to get a live 2D PNG. I do want to get like a live 2D model eventually. Like a proper one. This one I spent $20 on and I edited myself. But I do want to get a live 2D thing, which is essentially a 2D PNG, but it's just more expressive and stuff. So like there's more like bits to it, and like I could set what are the terms, hotkeys, so I can like change the expressions at will and stuff. I kind of I want to get a collab PNG, because I do play with people sometimes, and I feel like my PNG is so fucking big it takes up all the screen. So, you know, that's something I gotta do. I mean, I do want to collab with more people, folks. Do you think if I were to DM Joe Play Games and be like, hey, do you want to play? Do you think I can get Darktide players and Dark Raiders? Is basically what I'm asking. I think it could be done. I think it truly could be done. I am gonna hit up Joe Play Games for separate reasons. But that is something I'm going to do. But I do want to get some people in Arc Raiders, because I love Arc Raiders, folks. I love it. I'm sad I had work today, because there's that whole fucking Mr. Peanut versus Cloaksy Ninja War thing. And I wanted to be a part of that. But alas, the old capitalism rears its head. By the way, folks, the shovel's good. I don't know if you guys need to tell you that. The shovel is good. It's just reliable, which is nice, right? And also, it's funny to hit people with it because the sound effects are great. Whoever did the sound design in this game, once again, amazing, but the shovel sound effects are Hilarious. Bonk. Also, can I just say, I feel like shovels are greatly underestimated, I feel like. Because, like, okay, I'm going to talk about the potential zombie apocalypse. I don't know if you guys did this. When I was a kid, I was a nerd, right? Okay, it might not be obvious. I was not exactly one of the cool kids. I kind of became a cool kid by proxy because of how large I was. And for some reason, when you're tall, people just fuck with you. I was, like, tall and moderately good at baseball. Like, that was I wasn't a part of the team, but, you know, every time we played baseball, my long ass arms made it really easy to hit the ball to the other side of the doohickey. And you know, I was like kind of funny. I was like, when I was in middle school, I was a fucking loser, man. But that's because I came from a private Christian school where, like, you know, and I was like, I don't want to say immature, but I was not a cool kid, that's for sure. But as I went through public school and like was sort of, and also, you know, when you're grounded for 8 years, you don't exactly catch up on pop culture. Oh, hello. My cat is in my way. Excuse me, Mr. Cat. My cat just rubbed his face against the mic. He might be fucking with my model. But you know, once I got into like high school, I started realizing like where my funny was, because I was hanging out with like funnier people, and you know, there's no such thing as people who aren't funny. It's just people who aren't naturally funny. You know what I'm saying? You can become funny by osmosis, and that's what I've done. So like, and I aspire in every new friend group I join, I aspire to be the funniest person in the room. I won't like, you know. Okay, saying that, there's like that kind of like curse thing of the guy who thinks everything he says is comedy gold. No, when I make jokes, I study my group almost a little psychotically, to like figure out like, okay, what jokes can I make here that are like gonna hit, you know? What are the classics I can run that won't hurt nobody's feelings? So yeah, like in high school, I was like kind of a funny guy. Class clown. One time it got the better of me because I was like, we were talking about ovens in my science class, and my dumbass said, "Oh, the Germans make ovens." And I don't know why the fuck I said that. It was one of those things where like I'm pretty sure this was meant to be like remain in my head, and my science teacher me and my science teacher kind of locked eyes because he knows that I don't make those type of jokes, and I knew I also didn't make those type of jokes, and he was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my bad. I'll keep my mouth shut for the rest of the class." And he said, "That's probably for the best." Well, I want that frickin' Medicaid station. You know what I'm saying? I want the Medicaid. Ah, shit. I wonder if I can shove her off. Oh, of course, I'm worried about me getting shoved off. Okay, the shoveling off is not going well. But I'm just kind of beating her head in with a shovel, so it's all good. Where was I? Oh, yeah. All looping around to the zombie apocalypse. But anyway, sort of tangent aside, in middle school, I was a nerd. So, like, one thing like, one of my few friends I had on the bus, and we would talk about, you know, things to do in, like, apocalyptic scenarios. So, like, you know, but, like, the main thing we talked about was, like, the zombie apocalypse. And mostly it was not, like, it was actually going to happen. But, like, you know, we would talk about, like, okay, if we're in this zombie apocalypse, like World War Z zombies, or, you know, Walking Dead, which is probably, like, the easiest one to survive. You know, what would you do in The Last of Us? This was before the show, so we were just going off the game stuff before it became more... Obviously, the game, the whole thing was mycelium, but as far as we're in the show, like, the zombies were more Bluetoothy, much like mushrooms, instead of just classic zombies. So that adds a whole new layer of spookiness. But one thing we were always like, you know, you never see, like whenever you see, obviously it's the whole, like, fantastical element. Like, obviously Walking Dead literally had a bitch with katanas. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say bitch. A lovely lady with katanas. Which is, like, objectively cool, right? Obviously, but, you know, katanas, folks, I don't know if you know this, katanas fucking suck, okay? They're good at, like, cutting things, but anything other than that, they will, they kind of, you know, they would not survive a zombie apocalypse for as long as they did in the show. Crossbow, that's a good thing, because obviously you can retrieve the bolts, and you can make your own crossbow bolts with a stick and a knife. But the shovel, they don't need to be here, by the way. This is a timed event. They could be all the way up there, and that's fine. The shovel is an underrated weapon. You know, like, you know, something like the Ogryn's using it, although, you know, for a human size, just like a single one-handed shovel. Like, you know, you want it to be like a good quality shovel. You know, something like a trench digging shovel is obviously a good thing because it's a little thicker metal. Sometimes you can, like, make the eggs jagged so you can use it as an axe if need be. And, you know, a dull shovel still can shovel most things, right? I don't know how that freaking guy survived that. Like, shovels are a great weapon in a zombie apocalypse. Hammers, shovels. Those are, like, maybe not hammers. Well, like, war hammers, if we're talking about, like, weapons. But, like, shovels are great. Shovels are so good. Like, any, like, obviously, because tools are going to be the most, like, an incredibly important thing in the zombie apocalypse. Because you can't do shit without tools. So, like, but you also want something that's not going to, like, you know, a two-handed shovel's, like, probably best keep that at base. But if you're walking around, have a trench digger shovel or something, like, you know, a tactical shovel, some might say. Just something that you can use if you need to kill a zombie, you can, right? If you need to chop down a tree, most of them will have a jagged edge. Or some sort, or you can make a jagged edge on a shovel. You know, shovels are great. In fact, in, like, most apocalyptic scenarios, you probably want a shovel. I feel like that's not crazy to say. You know? Like, other, like, alternatives, I think crowbars are obviously a great... The issue with crowbars, though, is that they're heavy, they're unwieldy. But, like, typically, even, like, a smaller crowbar will get what you want done. So, like, you know, you probably wouldn't... You'd have to be, like, a pretty strong guy, and, like... I would wrap the crowbars, like bar around, like, some duct tape or wraps or something, just to give a little extra grip. But crowbars are, like, really heavy. Because, obviously, they're meant for being a crowbar, you know? Like, crowbars are a great tool, even if it's, like, one of the smaller ones. Like, you could cave a zombie's head in with that if need be. And, obviously, it's mostly for just prying open doors. And obviously, you know, the best weapon for a zombie apocalypse, folks, do I even need to say it? The spear. Yeah. It helped, you know, the Romans did it. It worked for them. It'll work against some walkers, okay? Like a spear, like the old... How do you think a zombie's gonna... A zombie can't beat the phalanx, okay? So in a zombie apocalypse, you and your boys are going to start cosplaying as Romans, okay? The phalanx will return in greater numbers than ever seen. This mission is very cool in Lights Out. Can I just say it? Well, now I'm sad. Now I'm freaking sad. But yeah, like, you know, those, like, obviously if you're gonna make a shield, a trash can lid is a good base, like one of those big old plastic trash can lids. Obviously, you want to reinforce it, but like those things are like, it's not really anywhere they can grab. It's very round. So what you do is I would take one of those those round plastic trash can lids, and I would probably put on the interior. I don't know if maybe I could find some like metal I can bang into it, like some or like reinforce it with maybe like some, I mean, ideally rebar, right? You could like make a little like thing with the rebar, or like some like metal, like sheet metal that you just like cut into a circle. You can get it in there, like maybe some rebar, like crossbar support to really help it in there, or just like like wood, maybe not 2x4s, but like wood and stuff. And obviously you'd want to be able to hold it up, so like you wouldn't want it around your wrist, you'd want it around your entire forearm, so you could like really lean into it if need be. Obviously this is in the hypothetical situation where there are zombies, but I'm just saying that's what I would do. The old phalanx, can't beat that. Or obviously if you can just get your hand on a riot shield, those also work great. Oh, ceases activity. Where am I compared to my team? A little right there. And also, folks, technically shovels are spears. Like, crossbows are definitely going to be pretty good. Obviously, guns won't last long. Let's be real, folks. We'll have to resort to the old musket. Whew. Whew. And honestly, like Molotovs, the idea of Molotovs in a zombie apocalypse are cool, but the issue is, now you risk the thing of zombies that are running towards you and they're also on fire. Right? Because assuming their pain receptors are dull, they're just going to be on fire and running towards you. And it's like, uh-oh. You know what would probably be pretty good in a zombie apocalypse? I don't know if this would like work scientifically. Maybe I'm just in my head. It sounds cool, but like not nitroglycerin. What's the nitrous? The shit that freezes like instantly, like bombs made out of those. Like you just throw it into a horde and it freezes them, cracking their skin. I don't know, that sounds maybe a little too sci-fi, but this is also a zombie apocalypse, so. But it's just one of those things. Just something to think about. However, I will say... Yeah, I don't know. Just fire doesn't seem like a very effective weapon against zombies generally, unless it's like hot enough to literally start like melting them off the rip. But, humans don't like. I'm not proud when I say this. I'm not bragging about it, but I did see ISIS light a man on fire, and it takes a while for people to start melting. So I have seen that. So, like, zombies, although, maybe it depends on the amount of decay set into their bones. I mean, I guess maybe if it's, like, more a clicker, maybe you burn the fungus out. But, I don't know. The science of fire and zombies is for smarter people than I. Just give me my damn phalanx. I mean, but, like... I don't know, just ranged weapons, assuming this isn't one of those zombie things where we can just... The whole government, like, assuming... Like, most of the time in zombie movies, like, the government fails instantly, it's always the first to go. You know, although I feel like, in a more realistic setting, the American military will be using A-10s on crowds of zombies within the hour. Because, like, generally, like, also, like, scientifically, assuming, you know, walking corpses, right? The zombie apocalypse is a temporary issue. As long as you can, like, sort of quell the hordes early on, and the government doesn't fall within, like, 2 days, it's a problem that will solve itself eventually and can definitely be outgunned, because it's just... Eventually, the zombies will be too rotted to move, right? Because it's not like they're... Unless they're, like, magical zombies, and then the skeletons can move, and then we have a whole other host of issues. But, you know, assuming it's just, like, your classic walking dead bodies, soon their ligaments and all the muscles will just rot away, so they can't fucking walk, and it's like, well, I guess this problem is sort of solving itself. Many things to think about. Now, of course, if it's an airborne disease, well, America will fall within 2 days. We saw what happened last time. Now, if it's of the enchanted sort of zombies, the U.S. government will simply drop a nuke on the sorcerer's house, and then bada bing, bada boom, we're good. Curse lifted through atomization. Yeah, I love it, folks. Hooray! Now, a lot of people I feel like in life have to come to terms with the fact that they might be a person to hide a bite. Me personally, I would never have to hide a bite because I would never get bitten because I'm in my phalanx. You know? Can't beat good old phalanx. Can't beat that. Zombies don't have cavalry. If the zombies had cavalry, maybe the phalanx has an issue. But as far as I'm aware, so far, the zombies do not ride horses. We need more, like, stupid zombie apocalypse movies. There used to be a bunch of them, but I think it's time for another one. There was a time where there was a lot. There was even, like, zombie romance movies. Fuck, what was that movie called? Warm Bodies or whatever? I remember that. I watched that shit. I was like, man, this shit is cheesy as... This shit makes Twilight look... I can't think of the antithesis of cheesy. This shit makes Twilight look lactose-free. Is that anything? I don't know, man. Good old phalanx, though. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. I'm gonna put this down simply because I don't want it in my pockets. Corn. He's gonna do predictable corn. He's gonna enter melee. Good old melee. Can't beat that. Back in my day, that used to be filled with zombies and would, like, open up and then the zombies would run out. I don't know why it doesn't do that no more. This mission's really cool in lights out mode. I don't know, folks. Good work, team. I didn't want to do 1G. I wanted to do 2. I hit enter before I hit the second G. Alrighty. Nice. If you missed one video, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, or don't. I'm not your mother, but you better brush your teeth. Now have a good one. Bye-bye.